Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Diana Calzi. I'm a registered dietitian and a certified diabetes care and education specialist. Today's episode is going to be all about snacks and what to snack on if you have type 2 diabetes. We get this question all the time, so I'm excited to do a deep dive on this topic. But before I begin, if you aren't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Be sure to like this video and click that notification bell so that you always get reminders when we release our next episodes. Okay, let's get started. So I want to start by talking about how to build a good snack if you have type 2 diabetes, and then I'll go over different examples and why they're a good choice. So the first thing we want to think about when building a snack is making sure that it's well balanced, because if you have too many carbs or if you just have a fat, then you're not getting all the macronutrients that you need to keep you nice and satiated, right? A snack is meant to fill you up until your next meal, but if you're eating something that's not really going to fill you up for very long, you might find yourself snacking even more. So the two main components that we want to focus on in a snack is going to be either protein and or a healthy fat and fiber. We want to combine those two together because when we combine them together, it's going to be a nice, well-balanced snack that's going to keep us full, and it's also going to help manage our blood sugar levels. Because if you were to just have a carbohydrate on its own, you're not getting the protein, which is really important for feeling full, and just having a carb alone without a protein or fat can cause us to have higher blood sugar levels. So that's why we really like the approach of combining a protein and or a healthy fat with fiber. And if you don't recall, fiber is a nutrient that isn't digested or absorbed in our body. So it kind of acts like a barrier, slowing down the carbs and other nutrients found in that food from entering our bloodstream. So all those other nutrients enter our bloodstream at a much slower rate. Therefore, it's going to have less of an impact on our blood sugar. So number one of my favorite snacks, it's very simple, but honestly, it's so nutritious and really does help with keeping you satisfied. And it's going to be nuts. It really is the ideal combination of healthy fats. So nuts are a great source of healthy fats. They're going to offer a little bit of protein as well, and they're going to offer fiber. So you're getting all three in just one food. And when we look at the research shows that nuts are actually really good if you have type 2 diabetes. Listen to this. In one notable study, 58 participants who incorporated almonds into their daily diet for 24 weeks experienced a significant decrease in their long-term blood sugar levels measured by A1C. Another rigorous investigation found that adults with type 2 diabetes who consumed 60 grams of almonds daily for 4 weeks showed a significant reduction in their fasting blood sugar and insulin levels. So these are some examples with almonds, but pistachios are also really good for diabetes as well. Listen to this study. Research indicates that approximately 57 grams daily of pistachios can improve fasting plasma glucose, fasting insulin concentrations, and insulin resistance while enhancing cellular glucose uptake and beta cell function. And there's a lot more research showing many different types of nuts are beneficial for diabetes, so don't feel like you just have to stick with pistachios or almonds. I just wanted to highlight that research. Walnuts are also really good. Cashews, even better. You can buy that big box of mixed nuts from Costco. I love buying that, and just have that on your countertop and you can have that as a snack. But remember, a little bit goes a long way. When it comes to nuts, you really only need a handful or about a quarter cup. And that is more than enough because remember, nuts are very high in fat. So they are going to be higher in calories compared to other foods. So that's just something to keep in mind. You don't want to overdo it either because it can lead to a lot of calories, and too many calories in our diet can lead to weight gain, right? So just keep that in mind. A little bit goes a long way. A little bit has the potential to really help with diabetes and be a very satiating snack, but don't overdo it either. And if you wanted to as well, you could combine some nuts with some seeds and create a little trail mix that way as well. Seeds are also very beneficial for type 2 diabetes. Okay, next up is veggies with some hummus. The crunchiness of the vegetables paired with the creaminess of the hummus makes for a really nice snack, and it also is going to be great for blood sugar control. And when I say vegetables, you can do literally anything. So think bell peppers, carrots, celery, cucumber, you name it, snap peas, all those work really well with some hummus. Those vegetables are going to offer nutritional benefits, and they're also going to offer that fiber that we're looking for. And then the hummus is going to provide all three as well. It's going to provide protein, it's going to provide some healthy fats, and it's going to provide a little bit of fiber as well. So combining the two, you're getting a very nice, well-balanced snack that will keep you nice and satiated, and it will also have a very minimal impact on your blood sugar. And hummus is primarily made from chickpeas. However, you could get creative and make your own hummus from a variety of different beans. I've done a white bean hummus before. That's really good. You can also buy your hummus at the store, of course. If possible, try to buy the reduced fat versions. It's just a really easy way to save calories if you're trying to watch your weight. And I did want to just point this out about chickpeas, which is traditionally the base for hummus. Multiple studies have highlighted chickpeas' potential in supporting type 2 diabetes management through various mechanisms, including improved glycemic response and enhanced insulin sensitivity. So chickpeas are a great food to include in your diet if you have diabetes, as well as any other legume, any other bean. All beans are exceptionally healthy for type 2 diabetes. And when it comes to serving size, I always say vegetables are unlimited. Have as many as you want. The more you can have, the better, because they're going to offer you nutrients, they're going to offer you fiber, and they're going to offer so little calories. So you can really eat a lot. You can fill yourself up with a ton of vegetables for not a lot of calories. And pair that with that hummus for a nice, really well-balanced snack. I would say when it comes to serving size for the hummus, try to stick to a quarter of a cup. If you do find the reduced fat or oil-free version at the store, or if you make it yourself, you can increase that because it's going to be a lot less calories. Remember, oil has a ton of calories in it. It's a very concentrated source of calories, and it's fine to include in our diet, but we just want to be very mindful of the amounts, similar to nuts, because it's very easy to overdo. So that's why if you can find hummus that's reduced fat, so meaning it'll have a little less oil or no oil at all, it's going to have a lot less calories, and therefore you can eat more of it. Okay, moving on to snack number 3, it's going to be yogurt and berries. So yogurt is such a great snack for blood sugar control, and it's also going to offer beneficial probiotics. And just to mention some research suggests that the beneficial bacteria and probiotic-rich foods may improve many markers of diabetes. So not only is yogurt going to provide a really good source of protein, but it's also going to provide those probiotics, that beneficial bacteria that is so important for our gut. Research is showing that people with type 2 diabetes tend to have more of the bad, harmful strains of bacteria, and so having more yogurt and more probiotics can help increase those good strains and reduce the bad strains in our gut. So when it comes to yogurt, I recommend going for the non-fat versions of yogurt, because yogurt can have a lot of saturated fat if we're not careful. So that's why I just say go for non-fat, so you don't even have to worry about the saturated fat, because saturated fat, if we eat too much of it, it has been linked to insulin resistance, which is the root cause for type 2 diabetes. So if we can limit our saturated fat intake as much as possible, it's going to be better for our diabetes, especially our long-term diabetes management. And then of course, always pick unsweetened varieties of yogurt. You want to really be mindful of your sugar, and yogurts can have a ton of sugar in them. So just read that nutrition label, make sure it says added sugars 0 grams. And just scan those ingredients as well. Just make sure there's no sugar or cane sugar or fructose corn syrup. None of those names listed on that ingredient list. If you want to sweeten it up yourself, I always recommend trying a little vanilla extract. You could do some cinnamon. What I love to do, and one combination I love to add to my yogurt always, is I get frozen berries. I microwave them for like 30 seconds until the juice is running out, and then I add the berries with the juice and mix that all together, and it is delicious. You can also add some protein powder too to give it some flavor. I do that a lot with Complement protein powder. Definitely check out our video about Complement protein powder and why we love it and recommend it over any other protein powder. And berries are also going to offer that fiber that we need to add to our snack as well. So berries are a really good source of fiber, and that fiber is going to help also combined with that protein to keep us full and satiated. That's why I recommend combining the two, because not only is it going to be good for our blood sugar management, but it's also going to really be helpful for satiation. And when it comes to serving size, again, since you're going with non-fat, you can have more. It's going to be less calories. So have half a cup to 3/4 of a cup, and then add your berries, about half a cup of berries. is perfect. And you can do about a tablespoon or two of protein powder, and that will be a delicious snack option. All right, snack number 4 is going to be a smoothie. Yes, smoothies can be a part of a healthy diet for people with diabetes. I know people are often told to stay away from smoothies because they can cause your blood sugar to spike. However, if you do a well-balanced smoothie with the correct ingredients and quantities and serving sizes, then you can have a nice well-balanced smoothie without having to deal with the fear of spiking your blood sugar. And what I really love about smoothies, it's just such a quick and easy way to get vegetables and fruit in, especially if you don't have time or if you're on the go. It's so easy just to whip up a smoothie and just take it with you. So when it comes to building a smoothie, you want to follow the same steps for a snack. So protein and or healthy fat and fiber. For that protein, you could do protein powder or you could do yogurt. And then for the fiber, you could do berries, you could do spinach. I love adding spinach or cauliflower rice to my smoothies to boost the fiber and nutrients of my smoothie. Another great ingredient that it's both healthy fat and fiber that you can add to your smoothies are chia seeds. They are a fiber powerhouse and they don't have many carbs in them, so it's a great way to increase the fiber of your smoothie without necessarily increasing the carbohydrates. I did a whole video on how to build a proper smoothie if you have type 2 diabetes. Definitely check it out because I go into great detail on how to build a smoothie that will be blood sugar friendly. All right, and my 5th and final snack is going to be roasted beans or edamame. Now, there is tons of research showing the benefits of having beans to your diet. So when I say beans, I mean any type of bean. Black beans, chickpeas, pinto beans, lentils, you name it. So beneficial for our blood sugar, both in the short term and in the long term. So people who eat a lot of beans in their diet tend to have a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. And the more beans you add to your diet now, if you have type 2 diabetes, the research shows the better blood sugar control you will have. So one easy way to do this is to take chickpeas and roast them in your oven. I'm sure many of you have already heard of roasted chickpeas. Well, you can do that. Also, many stores offer roasted beans as like a little snack option. You could buy those. Those are really good. And you can flavor them if you make them yourself however you want. So you can add different seasonings to it and make it really delicious. One time I made salt and vinegar roasted chickpeas and they were so good. It was such a good snack. And so that is a really good option. It's going to provide that protein and that fiber that we need for a nice healthy snack. And in terms of a serving size, definitely 3/4 of a cup up to a cup is totally fine. I also want to mention edamame, which are young green soybeans, and their nutritional profile is honestly just so impressive. They have about 11 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber in just half a cup. So they're going to be such a great way to avoid glucose fluctuation. So have them by themselves as a snack, or you can add them to your meals. It's really going to help manage your blood sugar levels. And I love getting the edamame in the pods and just getting frozen edamame and keeping that in my freezer. And then when I want a snack, I'll just take about a cup's worth, a cup and a half's worth, throw it in the microwave. I'll add a little soy sauce and it is such a good snack. I love the process of actually getting the pod, taking the seed out, the edamame out. Just makes the whole process of eating this snack. It takes longer, so you're more likely to get full quicker. And you can be so creative with the different spices you add. Again, I love just doing a little soy sauce, but you could do garlic powder, you could do cracked black pepper, red pepper flakes, chili powder, paprika. You can get really creative with all the different spices that you can add. All right, so those are my 5 favorite snacks if you have type 2 diabetes. Remember, it's all about creating a nice balanced snack that's going to help keep you full and also help you manage your blood sugar. So don't forget, make sure you pair protein and or a healthy fat with fiber. This combination will hit both. It'll keep you nice and full and it will help avoid glucose fluctuations. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment below what's your favorite snack for type 2 diabetes. I would love to know. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next episode.